So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you guys are. So guys, Canelo Alvarez has let us know that he in fact is coming back in the ring in May 2023, and his opponent will be Dmitry Bivol, or that's the fight he will be targeting in May, which is obviously big news. It's big news. He actually did an interview yesterday, and he let his feelings known in that interview that he will be looking to, you know, fight Dmitry Bivol in a rematch. I did say to you guys that Canelo Alvarez will look to fight Dmitry Bivol again. I knew that Canelo would look to fight Bivol because he's a competitor. Canelo's a competitor. Canelo, that doesn't sit well with him that he lost to Bivol. It just doesn't sit well with him, and I knew he'd look to avenge that loss. The fact that he's lost to Bivol, he wants to avenge it. He wants to prove that, you know what, he can beat Bivol. I think it's going to be very tough for him. I think it's the toughest challenge of his career. I even think it's probably harder than Mayweather, because I think this guy's too big. I think he's too skilled. I think he's got the momentum. I think Bivol is on too good form right now for Canelo to beat him. Canelo didn't look great against Gennady Golovkin. However, we heard he's got injuries and stuff, but Dmitry Bivol right now, he's young, he's prime, he's fresh. You know, his bones, his joints, everything are fresh. You know, he's not had no surgeries, no injuries. He's in the peak of it. He's at the peak of his power. The momentum is favoring him. He's looking sensational. He's going to be a very hard man to beat, and a very hard man for a guy that's a lot smaller than him to beat. I think Bivol is all wrong for Canelo. And I look, Canelo would have to prove me and many people like me wrong. I think Bivol is proven now that he's an unique fighter. I mean, he's a great fighter, an unbelievable talent, and I don't think Canelo Alvarez has the attributes and to beat him. I don't. I'm being brutally honest. I think Bivol will beat Canelo again. I think Canelo is now sliding onto the other side of his career. I don't think Canelo's in his prime, so to speak, and even if he was in his prime, it would be, peak prime. I still think it would be hard for Canelo to beat him. I'm not saying Canelo's past his best before some of the Canelo haters come and say, oh, well, you're now trying to say, oh, Canelo was past. No. Canelo's not past his best. Canelo is for me now, had a lot of fights, had a lot of training camps. He's now slipping to the other side of his career, where he's coming into the twilight of his career. And Dmitry Bivol is not in the twilight of his career. He's in the peak of his career. He's got the momentum behind him. He thinks he's unbeatable. And I think he's going to be a very hard man to beat, is Dmitry Bivol. So Canelo Alvarez, who's a lot smaller than him, is going to find it very tough, very, very tough, to beat Dmitry Bivol. Dmitry Bivol might even this time step on the gas and look to get Canelo out of there. I don't think he will, because I think Canelo's very tough. I think Canelo's got a chin, but I think Dmitry Bivol might step on the gas in this fight and actually look to gas Canelo, look to put a lot more pressure on him, press him. I think there's a possibility that Canelo Alvarez may be put under a lot of pressure in this fight, because I think Dmitry Bivol has seen what he's needed to see. I think his main goal was to win the fight. I think if he was to win, if he was to put pressure on Canelo, I think he could definitely do some damage, because Canelo Alvarez at times was definitely breathing heavy in that fight, and we know that Canelo has his issues with his stamina. Dmitry Bivol doesn't have any issues with his stamina. I've seen quite a few of his fights now, and he looks like he throws punches in bunches, and he moves around the ring very well. He's very efficient with his movement. He doesn't waste any punches. He doesn't just move around wasting energy. He's like I said, he's very calculated and very measured in everything he does, which in my opinion makes him a very consistent. He's not one of the most naturally gifted like a Roy Jones, but he's just very consistent at what he does. He's very good at everything he does. His movement is measured, his punches thrown is measured. He's just a brilliant fighter, and he's a lot bigger than Canelo. A lot taller than Canelo, got a longer reach than Canelo, and I would even go as far as saying I think he's faster than Canelo in terms of his foot speed, and maybe even hand speed. Canelo's got quite fast hands, but his feet aren't as fast. And against someone like Bivol, that's a problem. Because Bivol moves in and out very quickly. So, yeah, this is a very, very tough ask for Canelo. As much as I like Canelo, as much as I would love to see Canelo pull it off, I think this is a tall order. Very, very tall order against an exceptional talent in Dmitry Bivol. I saw the Zordo fight, and I mean, Bivol was exceptional in that fight. You know, he was exceptional. I mean, the way he controlled a bigger man, you know, and Zordo's got a chin on him. Let's put it, he's got a chin on him, like Canelo has. But the way he controlled that fight, I mean, to be fair, Canelo did better than Zordo, but I would probably expect that Canelo's a much better fighter than Zordo. Zordo is slow, he's lethargic. Canelo's got a little bit more assertiveness. He's got more killer instinct in his movement. I just think that I don't see how Canelo wins the fight, because I think if like last fight, Canelo was walking Bivol down. But even when he was walking Bivol down, he didn't really have the impact on Bivol. He wasn't able to dent Bivol. Can he outbox Bivol from the center of the ring? He can't. Bivol's too long. He's too tall. He's too fast. So how's Canelo going to do that? So I don't see how Canelo, unless he lands a huge punch that hurts Bivol. But Bivol's got a fairly good chin, as we saw the first fight. I mean, Canelo landed his shots, and Bivol didn't really affect him that much. So I don't really see how Canelo wins this fight. I'm being honest. I can't see. I don't see how Canelo beats him. If you guys can see how you see Canelo beats him, lay it down in the comment section. I genuinely can't see how I see Canelo winning that fight. I think it's going to be very difficult for Canelo to win that fight, honestly. I don't see how he does it. I might be wrong. He might pull it off, but yeah, I can't see it. I think it's going to be so tough for him to win that fight, to be honest with you. I think the guy that he's up against is a beast. I do, and Canelo's a beast. But I just think the weight class is too much, and he's fighting somebody that's very highly skilled. I just think that it's very difficult to beat someone that's a lot bigger than you and very highly skilled. I mean, it's a very difficult ask. As much as I like Canelo, I think it's going to be a very tall order for Canelo to get near that guy. I do. I think it's going to be very, very tough. And the problem is, I think the biggest problem is that Bivol has a great chin. So when Canelo does land, see, Canelo tried to break Bivol. He tried to break him, but he couldn't even break him. I mean, the man was so tough. Like, what he did to Callum Smith just didn't work with Bivol. You know, Bivol was just too tough and too strong. And Bivol, at the end of the fight, when Bivol pointed to his shoulder and said, I could see what you were trying to do, but it didn't work. You know, Bivol knew exactly what he was trying to do, but Bivol was coming back with combination punches, and Canelo at times was kind of startled, because I don't think Canelo was expecting that kind of resistance, and then that kind of hand speed, and that kind of movement. I don't think Canelo was expecting that. And Bivol took Canelo by surprise by how physically strong he was. Because at times, there was times in the fight where Bivol was not bullying him physically, but like the pushing him back with his punches. So those punches were having an effect on him, because you could see from Canelo's body language that the punches were troubling him. You know, so this guy in Bivol is he's a real deal, and I think he's going to take some beating. I even said that I think Beterbiev's the only guy, but I think now you'd probably, with Beterbiev getting older, with him getting injured, you probably have to side with Bivol in that one as well. You know, maybe Beterbiev knocks him out, but you might have to side with Bivol in that. Bivol is a real deal. He's the real deal, man, for me. And I think that's the fight that people want to see, is Bivol and Beterbiev. Maybe Canelo should let those two fight and then look to fight the winner. I think that would probably be Canelo's best route, because then there'll be a lot more on the line. There'll be all 4 belts on the line, and who knows, maybe Beterbiev styles make fights. Maybe Canelo might be able to do more damage to Beterbiev. Who knows? I think that's a more dangerous fight. I think Beterbiev could lay Canelo out. I mean, in terms of not so much with one shot, but I think he could wear Canelo down with the stamina, pressure, power. I think he could wear Canelo down. So look, I think the light heavyweights were always going to be the problem. I think the light heavyweights was always going to be a problem for Canelo Alvarez. I do. I think he was always going to struggle to beat those guys, and I think that what we expected has come to fruition. That those guys are just maybe too big, too skilled, for Canelo. You know, the fact that not too skilled in terms they're too skilled. I think they're too big, and then on top of that, the fact that they're very skilled makes them a very tough proposition for Canelo Alvarez. So that's how I see it. I think Canelo will fight him. Personally, I wouldn't pick Canelo, but again, like I said, I think I've mentioned this before. The reason why I want to pick Canelo, because I do think he's an underdog in the fight, is because of the fact that if he does pull it off, I think we should give Canelo the utmost respect if he does pull this one off. And I don't want to make it out like it's not an easy, it's an easy task, because it's not. It's a mammoth task. You know, he's climbing a mountain in order to beat Bivol. It's like climbing a mountain, a steep one at that. It's a tall order, a very tall order for Canelo. But you know, Canelo's special. You know, he's proven that throughout his career, so who knows. But leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Love to know your opinion, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace, guys.